on this list. He was ahead of Dak. He was ahead of Lamar. He was ahead of everyone except for the top 5 guys, which were Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, Russ, and Josh Allen. I like Matt Stafford, and I, like many people, really like the Rams this year. Colin, do you think Matt Stafford's the 6th best quarterback in football? That felt a little premature.
Yeah.
Felt like the Sean McVay glow has already started to rub off on Stafford. He hadn't played a game for him yet. Like, if you are, I'm not a huge quarterback wins guy.
Yeah.
But if you're one of the 6 best quarterbacks in football, you're not sub 500 over a 5-year stretch. You might have a down year. Don't you think that's a touch high and a little premature with Stafford, Colin?
Yeah, I think I've been told through the years, scouts love him, execs love him. I think it speaks to what the NFL executives are telling you is, good God, the Lions front office and ownership is worse than Cleveland's the last decade. That's what it's telling you, that people think the Lions are an incompetent tire fire. So there you go.
That's right. But I'm glad you mentioned Cleveland, because that's my second takeaway. What's the argument that Kyler Murray, and I like Kyler, should be on this list and not Baker Mayfield? I'm just curious.
Okay.
Like, what you tell me. Tell me the argument.
Well, one is a world-class athlete, and one was a walk-on. Kyler Murray's an unbelievable. He's the only thing in the world that looks kind of like Russell Wilson. He plays a little like Russell. I don't think he's as good as Russell. So I think Kyler Murray's an unbelievable. I mean, God, the guy, be honest, he was a baseball guy, 50% baseball guy, and he still comes into the NFL. And by the way, he had better stats at Oklahoma the year he was at than Baker did, the 1 year.
Well, they both won the Heisman. They both went #1 overall in the same system at the same university. Kyler does have the benefit of DeAndre Hopkins and Larry Fitzgerald. Baker, of course, lost Odell. But yes, I agree. I would much rather have Kyler in the decathlon, but it's the NFL. It's playing quarterback. And so Baker's arc is, because their collegiate arcs were very, very similar because they went to the same school, same system, all that. In the NFL, Baker, as a rookie, set records, had a down year 2, coached by arguably the least equipped NFL coach ever. As soon as he got a real head coach back, they went to the playoffs, won double-digit games, won a playoff game, and were in the game in the 4th quarter at Arrowhead. And he's doing it all the while. He has America's favorite media personality on a daily basis trying to tear him down. Kyler doesn't deal with that. Kyler's got nothing but love from people. Baker's got to deal with a lot of stuff. Again, it's something against Kyler particularly. Kyler just came in 10th, and I'm like, we can't get my guy Baker in the top 10.
Okay.
He's not one of the 10 best quarterbacks in football. Seems harsh.
No. Deshaun Watson, by the way, is not on that list, so he could be the argument. But I would say this, and I don't want to be critical of Baker because I do think I have Cleveland being a very good team this year. I think a lot of that's the offensive line and the coach. These are really good. But I'd say this. Cleveland was better last year the fewer times Baker threw. Okay, that's an important stat. When he threw less, they were better. Secondly, the Kansas City game. Yeah, the Chiefs were missing a guy in most of the second half. A random player, maybe you've heard of him.
I know.
Patrick Mahomes.
It's a little misleading. I know. I agree with that. I know. I was thinking it was the end of the segment. You might not get there. Yes, it is true that the Chiefs did seem to be in firm control until Mahomes went down.
Yeah.
But if you're going to hit me with that, then I'm going to hit you with this. That whole they were better when they threw the ball less is a first cousin of the stat of, if you get to 40 rushes, you win the game, which is a second cousin of the stat. Teams that take knees in the 4th quarter are undefeated. Well, why doesn't everyone do it? Well, it's actually you're taking a knee because you've already won. They are throwing the ball less because they've already gotten a lead, typically by throwing the football. So I don't buy that first part. But the second part is fair, that Mahomes did get hurt, which did affect things.
Kind of.
Yeah, that is true.
It just marginally affect the outcome of the game, yes. Good seeing you, buddy. Nick Wright.
See you, man.
All right,
Bye.
top of the – it's a very good draft. You can go to about the 22nd player, Chris Duarte of Oregon. A lot of people say he's 21, 22. He will play in the NBA. He can shoot. He can make his own shot. Like, he's a real NBA player. So last year, we got to about the 6th player, and we were like, we didn't know if he was an NBA guy. So, and they were better than we thought. So this is a good draft. And the Warriors have 2 lottery picks. And they have Andrew Wiggins, who's good, not special. I'm Golden State, you're Philadelphia. Would you take the number 1 lottery pick, Andrew Wiggins, for Simmons? Is that reasonable to you?
I hang up the phone.
You don't like it?
Okay. No. Here's why. If I'm Daryl Morey, I say to myself, okay, I have a 24-year-old with 4 years left on his contract, who the season before this one was an all-NBA player. This year, almost won Defensive Player of the Year. I already know there are 2 star guys in Dame and Beal who are borderline unhappy with their teams.
Right.
And knowing NBA history, another guy likely is going to become unhappy with his team. Who is going to be able to come up with a better package than me with Ben Simmons, Tyrese Maxey, who was good as a rookie, and Matisse Thybulle? This is where Philly's drafted well the last couple of years. Those are good pieces to include in a trade. OKC has all the picks in the world to trade, but Portland's not going to send Dame to OKC. He's been too good for the franchise for them to do that to him. New Orleans has a bunch of picks, and they could include Brandon Ingram in a trade, so they are a possible contender for any of these guys. But Philly almost got James Harden for Ben Simmons 9 months ago. I don't think they are now all of a sudden going to make a trade where it's Brogdon-centric or Andrew Wiggins-centric. I know why Golden State would want to do it, would love to do it. I don't think Philly would do it. And Colin, what I want to throw at you is this. Let's assume I'm right about these finals. Don't you think there might be a number of teams around the league that say, oh, okay, so if you build the right team around a non-shooting scorer, you can go win the title? And don't you think Giannis's success could actually make Ben a more attractive piece for a lot of teams around the league?
Yeah.
Like, because what do we say? We say, Ben, shoot more. With Giannis, it's like, shoot less, buddy. Do what you do. So I think that if Giannis rampages to the title, there might be teams that say, you know what? Embiid and Simmons didn't fit, but Giannis and Embiid wouldn't really fit. Like, and I'm not saying Ben Simmons is Giannis. He's not. But he might be the closest facsimile we have, like 85 to 90% of Giannis.
Yeah.
He's only 24. Put the right pieces around him. So I think that unless Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard are coming to Portland, I think Ben Simmons is starting the year on the Sixers, and Daryl will hold on to him until he can get a true all-star caliber player back.
So yesterday, players, coaches, and executives in the NFL released their top 10 quarterbacks. Now, my takeaway on the list, I think, was different.